is Ryan Beckman.
And Dustin Drake.
Ooh, special guest Dustin Drake tonight. Yeah, we're going old school. We got just the old school plays on here, sound bites, so it ain't gonna be fancy, but we're gonna get her done.
Through the old cell phone.
Yep. All right, Dustin. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Dustin, as you all know. Went through Bear River program for about 90 days. Entered into Naveed's house with Corey Winfield and Ryan Beckman, who Corey, of which I've known for pretty much 30 years. Went to school with him, raised hell with him.
A lot of good times.
A lot of good times. Too much fun on some boats once in a while.
Yeah, I heard about that story. We're gonna get back to that one.
Other than that, I'm doing good.
Nice.
And I have fun with this.
We definitely are gonna have some fun tonight. So yeah, when I was first introduced to you, Corey, and oh yeah, this is my old buddy Dustin, and he was telling me this story about you guys were out boating and you had a little incident with the Coast Guard. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
So we were cruising down the channel, and I had a pair of glasses on. I broke them, and I winged them out the side of the boat. Sorry, Peter. Coast Guards pull up on jet skis, lock the boat in. What'd you throw out there? First thing that clicked to mind was a Petoskey stone. And he goes, you don't find many of those down here in southwest Michigan. Why'd you throw them out? Why'd you throw it out? I said, because I collect them and it wasn't a very good one. They seemed to be quite iffy on my story, so they entered the boat. They had about 4 or 5 coolers with food on top and a lot of beverages underneath.
Yeah.
They stuck their hand in the ice and never brought anything out and let us go. Everybody was pissed at me all day, though. Just dealt with it.
Well, Corey's story went a little different, but he mentioned you had them and you're like, do these things make me look stupid?
Oh, maybe that was it. I thought they broke.
Stupid things. Chuck it out there. They wanted to get you for littering.
Oh.
They'll do that to you. Yeah, so we're here in our recovery house, hitting up meetings, doing our thing. How was your day today? What'd you do?
My day was pretty uneventful. Mostly talk to you.
Let's talk.
I did have an issue when I came in here, though.
What was the issue?
We were sitting on the corner of the bed talking. I kept staring at the floor, looking around. And I picked up a piece of salt off the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And I grabbed it, and I looked at it, and grabbed it out of my hand and said, calm down. I was like, all right. We had to talk me down from that, though.
Yeah, it was
a
big chunk of rock salt.
Rock salt. You all know what that looks like.
Yeah, definitely a trigger. I could see you were like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Get it away.
I was in my room trying to carpet surf.
Them days are over.
Yeah.
It was just right there. Wow.
Yeah, definitely there's some triggers. I was getting triggered today. What the heck was it? Oh, it was some music I was playing. I won't mention the song, but anyways, I remixed some lyrics to it and made it all about getting high, but that wasn't really good. So when I was listening to it, I was just reverting back to all these old memories. I mean, I played it through, not like I wanted to use, but it's the old ticker pumping, You start feeling that.
Yeah, I feel that.
But,
Go ahead.
But yeah, you were telling me another good little story about a hospital visit you once had. Why don't you tell me about that experience?
Which one was that? Is it the last one I went to?
The one where with your
my toes?
well, you can give
We gotta wait a little bit on that one.
uh, no, when you were talking about you had lost your mind and trying to break out of the
Oh,
hospital.
oh, yeah. I was substituting one drug for a different one. I'll just say it. I was doing methadone and decided to quit taking them and bought some Xannies and took two of those. Went to the handy spot or little convenience store and was feeling the effects a little bit and started to black out a little bit. And a guy got out of the car and I just turned around and said, "What the hell are you looking at?" And he goes, "What's your problem?" He threw his hands up, so I went over there and punched him. And the tooth fell out. And he hit the ground, laid out. We got the hell out of there. The lady at the store was screaming, "You killed him." I was like, "I don't think so." And my buddy kicked him and said, "No, he's still breathing. Don't call the cops." So we just left. Go to his house. I proceeded to take a couple more, which I thought were a couple. I took all 10 of them. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's a lot of them.
remember too much of anything. And
Scary situation.
a couple parts of the story I don't want to get into, but I ended up at the hospital. Luckily, I didn't go to jail. Cops got involved. Thank God I knew them all. But one cop, because I was irate and yelling, he goes, "Mr. Drake, would you like a shot of lightning up your ass?" And I was like, "Nope." And that's when I got in the car, settled down, went for the ride, and like I said, kept repeating myself. And then my mom said, "You need to go to the hospital." She thought something was wrong. She didn't know what I was on or anything. She was oblivious to it. So I get to the hospital, they evaluate me, and they're like, "You have to do a mandatory 3 days." I was like, "I didn't sign anything." She's like, "You signed it as soon as you got in here." And I'm like, "Okay, let's do this." So I talked to the doctor. He goes, "We got to take some blood." Take some blood, and he goes, "Yeah, we're going to have an overnight nurse stay with you at the door." And I'm like, "For what? I'm fine." And this is parts I remember. He goes, "Because you took enough to kill a horse," was what he said, but to me it didn't feel that way. So I go in a room, a one-bed room, and they close the door, leave me in there. I'm like freaking out. I don't know why. I don't want to be in here. There's a camera in there, bed, bathroom, and I start yanking on the door so hard that the steel lock broke and the door opened. And I walk down the hall, and all these people, to me, that aren't in their right mind are just splitting like a V while I'm walking down the hall. And as I'm doing that, a security guard grabs me by the shoulder. And I told him to get his effing hands off me. And he did. And 3 more came, and they coached me back into the room. And then the doctor came in again and set me on the bed and said, "We're going to give you something to sleep." And they gave me this white fluid that came through the tube, which was Seroquel, which I never touched that stuff before. It knocked me out for 2 days. Woke up, strapped to a bed. Use your imagination. I couldn't use the bathroom, and I was sleeping. Let me up, wash my clothes, take a shower, do the evaluation, get out of there, and start living my life normally for a little while till I go to jail. And that's where I cleaned out for 120 days. Was still married to my wife, but not technically together. Split up. Had a little girl. She was probably 8 or 9 at the time, enough to soak all this up and understand what's going on. And we split up. I spend the 120 days in jail. I get with another girl who I'd spent 6 more years with, constantly using, but hid it for 3 or 4 years. And
So she was a non-user?
she's a non-user. She drank occasionally, but
Yeah.
nothing. Her,
It's kind of hard to hold up them facades.
yes. But her
I
mom
did
and-
it for a while.
Yeah. Her mom and stepdad, not her dad. Mom passed away, and her stepdad was always an addict along with her mom, and that's why she passed away. Very good woman, very good dad, real dad. I met him, and her mom was a good woman until she lost control. Matter of fact, her dad kept me in line quite a bit, and along with her, because there was no BS in that woman whatsoever. So she moved in with me, and I kept slipping up, and finally she caught me. I was going to the doctor asking for scripts when they were still doing it, and I had was getting them, and they stopped, and then I was doing all right.
So, talk about when they were still doing it. That's back when you could just
You could
pretty
go
much,
to the hospital and say you have a headache and get.
we got a skunk coming
Oh my God, Pepe Le Pew.
out the back. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, back when you could go back in the hospital and say I have a headache, and they give you a shot of narcotic or send you home with a script or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't
Backache,
Yeah, they don't do that anymore. And
Yeah, they cracked down on that.
yes.
I knew a lot of people taking trips, down south, had 3 or 4 doctors they'd see.
Yeah,
Typically, I guess Florida was a high
very high.
flea state to go to and round up several doctors, make a trip, and come back.
Yep,
I had one friend who was doing that.
yep.
That's just scary way to live.
Yeah.
On the road
Or on the plane.
or on the plane.
Uh-uh.
It'd be even more. That might be more nerve-wracking. I don't know. I did a few road trips, but
Yeah,
not that far south.
I went pretty far south. I told you that story, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's toenail. We'll get to that. So I'm halfway clean now in my head. It's been about 7 months since I touched anything. I'm at work, operating a lathe, and I severed the tendons in my is that pointer finger?
Yeah.
Severed the tendons in it. Sent me to the hospital. They go, "Are you in pain?" I'm like, I didn't tell them no. It didn't hurt. I couldn't feel anything. It was numb. And I said yeah, so they gave me some narcotic. Fell out. Woke up. Hands all stitched up. Wasn't even awake for it. Sent me home with 15 Norco. And a week later, I go in for surgery to get the tendons reattached, to where they put a rod in my arm halfway down my forearm and pulled them back up and reattached them and sewed it together.
Ooh.
Now, this is just at the beginning where they're starting to decline on providing with outpatients with prescriptions. He sends me home with 160. I'm like, what? Bingo. So I take those in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. First I was taking them as needed, but it wasn't working in my head.
No, wasn't getting you where you wanted to go.
Nope.
Once you're an addict,
Yeah.
you can definitely fall back in you just start feeling a little buzz, and
Yeah.
you want to go for the full ride.
Yes.
And then addiction's all set. There's a lot of guys who relapse like that, or like most people too. If you're a drinker, you think, oh, I can just go have a couple,
I always thought that.
get the taste of a couple, and then you're right back on for the full ride.
Yeah, I always thought that saying one is too many and thousands not enough.
Yeah,
Till I finished my last program, understood it.
yeah.
And I understood the concept of it being a disease, which baffled me that anybody would call it disease. I considered MS or diabetes or AIDS a disease. But now I see it's kind of hard to kick this disease.
Yeah, it
It's
rewires
implanted.
your brain, and I don't know. There's a whole science behind.